There are so many things wrong with the trucking industry, and Trump is worried about people speaking English. Obviously, there are procedures in place for when you get your license. You have to be able to understand these road signs and everything else. There's even extra procedures put in place, obviously, to get your CDL on top of your regular license. You worried about the wrong thing. As somebody who was over the road, let's focus on the wages that they pay these truck drivers. Let's focus on these cent per miles. Let's focus on regulating these brokers and all that money they be taking off of these loads. Let's worry about putting some regulations on how long these shippers and receivers have you sitting there waiting to get loaded and unloaded. Let's worry about getting these truckers paid properly for having to sit at these warehouses 6, 7, 8 hours, sometimes overnight. I think there's a lot of things that we could be focused on more than worrying about the language that someone speaks, because me personally, I've just never been in a situation over the road where I was worried about the driver next to me being able to speak as much English as me. Like, you talking about you worried about them not being able to read the road signs? These are people that have a license. It just really feels like he's spending a lot of time trying to fix things that matter the least. It's just so many issues that come to the top of my mind that a president could fix with the snap of his fingers, or putting ink to paper and signing an executive order like he's so frivolously doing. There's so many other things that you could be worried about. And please don't get me started on that lady that said my Uber drivers finally speak English again. This administration is genuinely a joke, and I understand why people from other countries are on travel advisory for here. Seriously.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's always great to have you here. If you're new, welcome to the family. I'm your girl Amy, and this is Trending Pulse, where we talk about trending stories that matter, spark debate, or just make you think. Now, today's story has started quite a bit of noise online. President Trump just signed an executive order that got a lot of truck drivers talking, and not necessarily in a good way. It's about English proficiency for drivers, and while some say it's about safety, others feel like it's just another way to target immigrants. So let's check out how Americans are reacting to this. Then I'll come back and we can have this discussion.
Listen, word on the street is Donald Trump is getting ready to sign an executive order that is going to require all truck drivers, all CDL holders to speak English. All of us. So all CDL holders, for some reason now, he wants all of us to be able to speak English. I'm not one of them people that like to celebrate on nobody getting wired, because he coming for everybody. But Latinos and Hispanics for Trump. Now do y'all see, bro? Do y'all see? He never liked y'all. He was never for y'all, just like he don't like our asses. Imagine what we could have did if we would have stuck together.
Donald Trump has signed an executive order saying that if you are going to drive a truck in the United States, you must speak English. The problem with this law is that we all know that certain people are going to be targeted when it comes to this law, like black and brown people. It's not going to be white people that don't speak English, like Russian and Ukrainian truck drivers. A few months ago, the state of Arkansas actually implemented this law. I made a video about it, and people came for me in the comments section saying that I was making this up. In the state of Arkansas, if you pull over at the weigh station, they will ask you, do you speak English? Yes. Do you read English? Yes. Read us what this says. And then they'll ask you, can you write English? Yes. Okay, write whatever we tell you to write. If you can't pass that test, you get a $5,000 fine, and the company you're working for gets a $10,000 fine. And while this may be a law for safety while driving, I think that it's unfortunate that, unfortunately, it's going to impact black and brown people mostly.
If you don't speak English, nobody wants you driving a truck. That is the sentiment from a lot of truck drivers, and that's what the law says. It's not a new law. It's a law from the 1930s. It's just being enforced right now. But I'm Latino, I'm a firstborn American. This is what I think about that. And look, first of all, I got to say that I do feel bad for all the people that invested so much, are not stealing from anybody. They're just going out there and working and providing for their family. I'm not happy that this is happening to them or anything like that. On the other hand, the law is the law, right? I mean, before you got into this, you knew that you couldn't be doing, you couldn't be operating that way. You understood that you needed to speak English in order, it was part of the law. In order to operate and to do this job, you needed to do that. And I don't want to hear that, oh, I've been doing this job for 20 years, I don't speak English, and it's not a problem for me. It is a problem. You just don't care about it. But it is a problem from other people around. I have seen it firsthand many times. When I see somebody that doesn't speak English, I have no problem going and helping that person out. I'm not an asshole. I'm going to help you out. but you are making a problem for everyone else around you. All right, because you can't understand the situation, you can't communicate properly. And look, man, it is what it is. If I go to Germany, I have to learn German, dude. And if you just got here and you're learning the language, it's totally fine. We get it. It's totally okay. And look, I was born here and I still have an accent because I'm from Miami. It doesn't matter if you can't speak absolutely perfectly.
Breaking news, guys. So another executive order was signed today requiring all commercial truck drivers to speak English. So this is something new that they're doing now. Now, I know that we have a lot of truck drivers on our road. A lot of them cannot understand or speak English. So I do understand when there's a language barrier, there could be a lot of mistakes made with shipping orders or the place that the order is actually supposed to arrive at. So as far as that executive order, I think that I don't know if that's a good executive order or a bad executive order, because you got some truck drivers who don't speak English, but they're still really good at their job. But at the same time, I do see where the barrier could cause a lot of conflicts when it comes to mistakes of deliveries. And again, of things going to the wrong place. And so this is part of the change that I said that was coming in 2025. There's going to be a lot of changes. Now, there's a lot of truck drivers out there, guys. Hundreds of thousands of truck drivers, if not millions. And believe it, about 45, maybe 50% of those don't speak very good fluent English, which they can speak English to a certain extent. So I don't know if this new executive order is actually going to be a good change or a bad change, but I do know that learning a different language is not really all that difficult if you really apply yourself.
So, if you're going to drive a truck in the US, you now have to speak English. I'm not yet sure how this is going to be enforced. I'm still unclear as to why this is so important to him, other than in his continued pursuit of making English the only official language in the US. Because that makes a lot of sense, right? I know many of us are not surprised by this anymore, but here we are.
If Trump wasn't already screwing truck drivers over before with the empty shipping containers in the ports, now he's requiring you to speak English. Now that might not be a problem for a lot of you. Well, maybe it is. But I think this is, a little FAFO. So truck drivers, you thought Trump cared about you because a lot of you voted for him. So if you don't speak English, how many of your counterparts don't speak English? Would you say it's 5 out of 10 that you meet? Whether it be Spanish, a different language, Russian, whatever it is. How many truckers that you meet don't speak English?
His spokesperson says that because English is America's official language and they believe it's necessary for safety, communication, and national unity. This move is already causing a lot of controversy. Supporters of this say it's about keeping the road safe and making sure all the drivers can read a road sign and respond quickly in emergencies. But critics say it could unfairly hurt immigrant drivers and lead to even bigger worker shortage in the trucking industry. And the industry is already struggling to find drivers.
As you can see, people are not holding back. This executive order is bringing up some serious emotions, and for good reason. So here's the deal. Yes, there's always been a rule saying commercial truck drivers in the US must understand and speak English, but it hasn't always been enforced strictly. And what Trump's new executive order does is push for tougher enforcement, making sure every driver can read road signs, communicate with law enforcement, and handle written instructions in English. Now, if you ask supporters, they'll say it's all about road safety, and that's a fair point. Being able to understand traffic signs and direction is important when you're behind the wheel of a huge truck. And groups like the American Trucking Association are backing the move for that very reason. But critics, they're not buying it. Many feel like this is just another attempt to push out immigrant workers. People who have been doing these jobs for years without major issues, and some drivers are now worried they'll lose their livelihoods, not because they can't drive safely, but because they weren't born speaking English. And let's be real, language doesn't always determine skills. And there are experienced drivers out here who know the road like the back of their hand, but might struggle with English due to where they come from. And should that really cost them their jobs? So this situation isn't a black and white as it looks. Yes, safety is important, but so is fairness. And people are right to ask whether this order is about protection or exclusion. Anyway, that's just my take on this. And I know it's a hot topic and the reactions make it clear. This isn't just about language, it's about identity, opportunity, and who gets to be part of the workforce. So guys, what do you think? Is this a necessary step for safety or just another policy with hidden motives? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear your take on this. And as always, if you found this video helpful, interesting, or just thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more trending stories. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next one.